that we own the land, that we are part of it. We are not just visitors. We are not just occupier, or we just came here first or second. We have to take responsibility for that. And I think that's the hard thing. The thing is that if we all accept that we are indigenous, we have to take care of the land. We're not guests. And that creates separation.
Yep. And otherism, because some people belong and some other apparently not. Although I understand the uprootedness that you feel when you are transplanted to a different environment, and it takes time to grow roots, like the potatoes, that not all of them sprouted. And the same with people. Some people thrive, some other don't. But I completely agree with you, because the borders were arbitrary. Who is to decide that you belong to one nation or to another? We are all in the same planet, and even though Amazon doesn't let us know where things are coming from, so just for say something, at this point I guess that we can still say that comes from the same planet at least, right? So it's not that we are importing beyond the jet. Not that I know, but who knows?
I've heard some things about some lizard people.
But if there is something good to say about globalization, and there is a lot of things that we can say that are not so good, is that we are closer and closer to be citizens of the world, and I really like that. In diversity, respecting the difference, valuing them, but not creating that otherism, like that create that unbalance in so many things. But anyway, it's a long conversation, and you have to go.
Yeah, I do have to go, but I have to say that I really appreciate that we can have these conversations here, and that the show can spark these kinds of conversations. I've had many different kinds of conversations as a result of the show, and that makes me feel really happy that people have different entries into the works. Is there any final question that anybody has? Anything like, I haven't heard from some of y'all, so.
I just had a quick question about the title, just like on Earth.
Yeah.
What the thought was behind naming the show that, or like the idea of like land ownership. I don't know. I'm just curious, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think the word to own is really like a weird one, because possession can be kind of a both way thing. I think the way my dad just used it seemed to indicate like a different meaning than what I had intended with the show title. The show title really it comes from a book called Owning the Earth by Andrew Linklater, and was a historian. It's a really dense book. It's a wonderful book. It's a history of land ownership and land ownership practices in the West. And it really highlights, and for me, the title is really about highlighting this like strange idea that we can kind of demarcate and possess a certain plot. And I wanted to interrogate that there's, I mean, I don't even know how to put words to it. That's a very strange idea. I mean, that should blow your fucking mind. Like, like that we can look at a plot of land and say like, I own this little part and you own that little part. Like the underlying social dynamics that have to be in place to support that claim is very complex, and are very complex and confusing. And I want to interrogate that. And I think that we more or less did that with each work, kind of add some new perspective on this idea of that claim.
I think the Shibari piece, the one before the end, queering, really tackles it, because it's really, bondage and consent and all of those go together, right? And this is the human being a subject, consensual, hopefully. She asked for their permission before tying them. But, the subject is bound to this reality. There couldn't be any more stronger reality check than either things crumbling before our eyes, or things getting intoxicated, or being bound to something. And just being in that position maybe upside down or uncomfortable, and having to endure it. You know, it creates, to me, it creates a lot of empathy, at least.
Thank you, folks. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tal.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Do you have my email address? Can you share it with them?
Yeah.
If you have any additional questions at the end of this, hit me up.
Oh, you don't know the trouble that you just.
I didn't say I'll respond.
She's not kidding.
I'm busy. I got a third kid coming any day now. All right. See you guys.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.